And welcome to the Google Hangout with Team UK. So we're all DS Domination. We're all here to serve you, to help you expand your business on the eBay side of things, the Amazon side of things, give you some tips and tricks and all sorts of details, show you where the resources are that you can get stuck into, to give you the most support, the most help that you need to get DS Domination off the ground. So we've got the regular team here, and we've got one person that's come into our lives very recently. How about that, Kevin? So we were just talking before the hangout there. You know, you've been in the industry for quite some time, we'll say, and you know, tell us a bit about your background and what you can see with DS Domination.
My background is fundamentally business. I've been managing director, and I still am managing director of a couple of businesses. Worked incredibly hard with those and built those up to reasonable levels. And I've always, I don't know, it's always difficult employing people. It can be extremely difficult depending on the industry you're in. And in my paving company, for instance, I had 30 guys working for me, 14 staff at a factory, and you know, we were manufacturing in that factory. But all those, it's very difficult to manage those situations. So even the guy in the factory was nicking stuff on a regular basis, I'm afraid, that sort of thing. So it's difficult and becomes very stressful. I then worked in a investment industry. We're still in that. I'm still managing director of I won't mention the company's name because that's not the purpose of this, of a company involved in investment. But again, it's employing people, and people tend to bring all their problems to you. They don't just come and work. You know, you get all that as well, and I guess that's part and parcel of being the boss of a company. The attraction to me with network marketing has always been the team spirit, working with other people, the mental attitude of everybody you work with. In general, it's good. Obviously, you get some negativity, but in general, it's good. So it's always appealed to me that could actually be kind of an escape route for me from the stressful corporate world, or, I mean, the paving companies, or the construction, that sort of thing. I think there's got to be a route out one day for me and do something that I enjoy. So my first experience with network marketing was I came across Amway back in the 80s, late 80s, I believe. It was introduced to me, and I looked at it and thought, yeah, I love the concept, I really do. But unfortunately, it was the same time I started in the paving business, so I didn't really go for that. And then I came across, am I allowed to mention other network marketing companies? Other network marketing companies?
I guess you can on this. Just say that it rhymes with Ramway. That usually gets you out of it.
Rhymes with Ramway. Okay. Well, I'll mention them because actually I've got nothing against any of them at all. You know, I think they've all got their own niche in the market, their own place in the market. But I worked for Utility Warehouse. I like Utility Warehouse. But the problem with that is I was out sort of every evening trying to get everybody to change their utilities over. And you just need such a large bank of customers, I felt, in order to earn a decent income. It was hard work. I was out every night. And then the last thing was an American diet product, which a few people will be familiar with. And I would challenge anybody to make a living out of that one. So I think that was quite difficult. And again, I was out every evening trying to get people to come over to me and trying to convince people to go on a diet. And I just couldn't earn a decent income from it. And then it was last sort of November, I went to the States with that company that I was working with. And I went there on the basis that something's got to get into my heart and I've got to really believe in it, you know, move forwards with it. I came back totally disillusioned, to be quite honest. There were a few guys on the stage earning some exceptional amounts of money, allegedly, and 10,000 people in the audience applauding them all. And I looked at the 10,000 in the audience and thought, you're actually feeding them. You know, you've kind of got this wrong, really. You're being led on by all the hype and everything. And I came home, I had a very, very long think about network marketing. And I thought, do you know what, I'm starting to work this out. It's always the same people at the top. It's always the same people there. And there's loads of guys at the bottom who are beavering away, people dropping out. And then I watched Kevin Hokuana's video. And we've all seen it, hopefully, by now. And just the first few words just got me, absolutely grabbed me. And I thought, it's been a long time, but at last somebody is telling the truth. And I read it as the truth. That's been the reality in network marketing, is that the people at the top, they don't want everybody to succeed. They couldn't afford for everybody to succeed. That's the fact of the matter. I mean, we all understand that now. And then obviously talked about the product. I looked at the product and I thought, fantastic, what an unbelievable product. The product makes you money. And as I say, I sort of spoke to you before, and I said, in my mind, I was separating the two. So I had the product side, which is obviously the training courses, etc. And then on the other side of things, you've got the network marketing, so recruiting people. And I'm more into team building really than the actual trading with the product, but I was able to keep the two separate. We're very fortunate in this house. I've got Shelley, Nickel. I think a few of my team have come onto this as well. A few of the guys have sort of been introduced to Shelley, and you guys will be introduced to her eventually. Not too closely, I might add. But Shelley she's into the trading. She's really into that. She loves that, and she will sit there painstakingly and go through the process of listing products, and she did very well. Her first month, she made £800 in her first month, which I thought was fantastic. But of course, then month 2 comes, month 3 comes, you get the odd little problem and so on. I think, oh, you've got the odd return. And I think that's something with DS that people have to accept. Nothing in life is perfect. Don't ever think you're going to find something that's absolutely perfect. Be prepared for the odd little battle now and then, and the odd little battle in DS domination for me is that you're going to get the odd return. Occasionally you might get somebody who will say they haven't had a product delivered, and you know too bloody well they have. Very difficult. We all have it, we all experience it. And what I did with Shelley was we sat down, we looked at her business model on the trading side, and basically said, look, that's business. In any retail business, you're going to get returns and so on. Do your sums at the end of the month. We've done our sums at the end of every month, and the worst month she's had, she made £400 profit, and that included a couple of returns. That included one guy who did claim he'd never got the product delivered, but we know he did. All right, just because we're humans, and we know how some humans behave. But she still made a profit. Am I talking too much?
No, it's fine. Carry on.
Yeah, so in the meantime, as I said, I did a little bit of listing. I didn't do a great deal of it. I've never said to anybody I have. She does that side of things here. We've got every single package, by the way, everything. So we've got Elite, Unleashed, Monopoly, and Marketing Extreme. We've got the whole thing, because we felt if we were going to lead from the front, we needed to do that. So we both bought that very early on, the full packages. And she's very knowledgeable on that side of things. So she studies all the training courses. My route is to go the recruiting side. I like talking to people. I like working with people. And we've built a team up to around about 200. It's hovered around 200. It's been consistent on that. And in the last month or so, it's actually started to accelerate. The problem for me was I got to sort of February time, got the team going, got the team to a reasonable level, and then realised actually that although I was earning a good income, the income I was earning at that point wasn't enough to sustain me personally. I needed more income, so I had to divert back to the businesses I was already running and increase my income from those two businesses. What happened then over the next, we're going back to February, so we're only talking the last 2-3 months, is my stress levels started to go up again. Because suddenly I'm having to work with these builders and guys who were doing the construction thing, and then things to do with the investment company, and that's a very complicated business. But we're very beholden to the FCA, for instance, which was the FSA, and you're sitting there and you're owed. I mean, if I tell you last Christmas we had a pipeline of £300,000, that was our pipeline, and the FCA, bless them, put their toe into our business and wiped it out overnight. Thank you very much. That's the kind of a stress you live with. We've recovered most of it, and we're now slowly sort of bringing that back, but it's drip feed in comparison to what we did, and we put 7 years into that to get to that point. So you can imagine it's extremely distressful, but I had to go away from, the point was I had to go away from DS domination to go and sort of look after these things, get them back. They are running quite smoothly now, and everything is turning over quite nice. But I came back to this, and it's a spooky series of events that have happened in the last month or so, really. In that one of my team who's been involved with me for some time, I've got very friendly with him. I'm actually going down to see him tomorrow, and this is the guy I've spoke to you about, the UK supplier. When you look at the business model, we're bringing in a lot of British people, and although some of us obviously are a little bit more, we're a bit more flexible. You know, we're quite happy to go across the pond and trade on .com and work, you know, in the States or, you know, whatever, and eBay.com as well. But I think there's a little bit of a English trait, British trait, where most people actually don't want to do that. Initially, they want to stay in the UK, and I'm sure you guys have experienced it. New people you brought on board. Do I go to .com? Do I go to UK? And you say, well, you can do both. Oh, I'll go to the UK one. You know, there's a few guys who will, but most people will stay there. So recently, one of the guys that I'm working with, we've been talking anyhow, and he's come to me with, they put together a software package where basically they're creating a supplier in the UK specifically for DS domination people. And when I looked at the model, and I'm not going to explain it in detail here because I know that's not the purpose of this, but when I looked at the model they're putting together, it kind of put everything back together for me and thought, wow, if we can get this working, then there is one unbelievable potential with DS domination. My view on DS domination, as I say to you, is that, if I'm honest, it's a little bit bitty in the UK. You know, we've got various groups here, there, and everywhere. People have joined, and it's littered. And I feel that something's got to happen. I think you guys are doing great with this. You know, the DSD team UK, excellent. That works well. We need to sort of, for me, we need to centralize it a little bit if we can. Have one central point where everybody in DS domination in the UK knows that that's kind of the central point. That's where we go to for the information, where we all come together instead of, and you're never going to stop it, instead of, you know, there are 20 teams throughout the country and they're all having hangouts, they're all having webinars and all these various things, different bits of information here and there. And I feel if we can try and centralize it a little bit more, and I can see Rick nodding his head there, either that or he's got a bad twitch, but I think Rick's probably in agreement with me that the potential here, if we grab hold of this thing and run with it in the right way, can be unbelievable. What we've got to be careful of, in my view, is that there's a load of us out there who've got the sort of leadership skills, if you like, have got the potential to make something amazing happen with it, but we go running off and running 20 races at the same time. You know, we're not going to collide into each other. We're just going to all going off in different directions. So if we can kind of unify it, and when I saw this model with the guys that I spoke to you about, I thought, wow, that's the tool. That's the one thing that can bring everybody together and really work for all of us. And again, you know more detail than I'm letting on here, Stephen. So last Friday, as I explained to you, I set up a Skype call. In fact, he contacted me.
I saw that.
Yeah. See?
And that's how I got onto you, because I saw that Roger messaged you asking how you doing, and then I saw that conversation all the way down, and then I thought, who is this Kevin?
I think he got his spelling wrong, actually. I think he meant to say, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, no, I mean, as I said, I've been in from quite early days, and I've made a point of actually, there are a couple of guys very close to Roger. I won't actually mention their names at this stage, but I've known them for a long time in network marketing. And there's one guy, I've got to be careful here because I'm going to get everybody's problems, but there's one guy, for instance, he's got Roger's mobile and he can ring Roger anytime. So, and he's a friend of mine, so if I contact him, he can literally go straight to Roger and get answers. It's not the right route to go, because in the end, Roger's going to say, you're going to have to stop, it's just ridiculous. I've got too much to do. And I'm not pretending I know Roger personally, I don't. I've had one conversation with him. Let's get this in perspective. I don't have an ego, and I don't want anybody to think I have. So, you know, I've sort of touched a little bit with the top guys in the industry. Joseph McDermott, he's online. He's quite high up there. If anybody wants to look out for him, he's high in DS. And there are a couple of others. Julian Wong, you've probably seen his name around a bit. But again, he's quite high up there as well. these are names that it's worth people trying to link themselves up to and contact. Julian, I'll be honest, he's not a great communicator. You know, you'll probably send him 10 messages before he'll actually finally respond. But Joseph's been pretty good. So sort of connected up there. And I don't know how my name ended up in front of him, but he sent the message down as he said, you know, what you up to, and we had a chat. And so what we did, what I'm trying to lead to, is we set up a Skype call on Friday of last week, which was myself, the two other guys who were involved in putting all this together, and Shelley, putting this thing together. We're putting together. I know I'm teasing people by not sort of fully telling them. And Roger loved it. He actually told us, he said, "You've made my day," and he went off very happy with what he put together. And on the back of that, this was Friday, I was up until 2:45, booking my flight, my hotel, and my ticket to Vegas. I did that last Friday on the back of the conversation I just had with Roger, and what's all, as I say, it's only come together in this last month that I've thought, do you know what, this is it, Kevin. This is your opportunity, you know, to really run with something and enjoy it. Am I talking too much? I'm not giving anybody a chance to speak. But
no, that was brilliant. So you're going to Vegas?
I am indeed.
Oops, last week. That's incredible. But don't you agree that the only way to succeed is to take massive action, take these opportunities when they arise, and then just go full force with them?
I do, yeah. I think, yeah, I do. It is take massive action, but again, a lot of that can depend on your age as well. You know, I mean, as a younger guy, I'm not going to say. I'm 53. I don't mind telling anybody. I'm 53. When I was 33, funnily enough, that's when I started the paving business. I jumped in with both feet in just about everything. You know, anything came in front of me, it was a gut feeling, went for it. Gut feeling, went for it. You know, if I can have my time again, and I have the mind that I've got now, not the grey hair and the one pack. I mean, I had a black hair and a six pack in those days. Had the mind I had now, what I would do is I would take a little bit more time and think things through and plan them a little bit more. So yes, I do agree you've got to take massive action, but be careful you're not jumping in the wrong pit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree with it.
So one thing I did want to touch on is, you know, you've touched on that you've built up quite an organisation of 200 people. How have you built that up, or any tips for people that they're just doing the eBay side of things, they're not really interested in the affiliate side, but if they want to build up the residual income from the affiliate side, then what tip would you give them for that's helped you out in your experience?
Be nice to people. You know, be nice to people. Give them a little bit of your time. I mean, we've all got an optimum level, and we all get frustrated. We all get stressed. We all feel like getting up and kicking the computers because somebody's being a wally. You know, we all feel like that. We wouldn't be human if we didn't feel like that. But be kind to them and be kind to yourself. You know, I know this sounds daft, but I found it sort of strikes me quite often with my businesses. All the things that I've worked in, I start off with, I put something up the other day, does anybody understand entrepreneurial growth? And I got one answer from somebody. It wasn't quite the right answer. Entrepreneurial growth comes from the initial enthusiasm in any business. And we all have it. We all come across something that Shelley, you can say hello? She's hiding here. And we all have it. When we start off in a business, we pick up on something, we get incredibly enthusiastic about it, and we will go out and build that business on the back of that enthusiasm. Okay, what happens after a period of time, it's happened in everything I've ever done, is that the negative people come, the knockers come, the problems come, you know, nothing's perfect, that's the way it is. And you gradually get nibbled away at, slowly but surely, by these things. Slowly but surely you gradually get nibbled away at. Your enthusiasm starts to wilt a little bit, even if you're earning a lot of money, because money is not necessarily the key to everything. It's self-satisfaction as well. You'll gradually get nibbled at, and eventually you back off a little bit, and then somebody in your team will upset you, and they'll do something daft, and you're stood there pulling your hair out. And really and truth, as you get older, you do and I'm not that old, but as you get older and you go through life experiences, you do become more tolerant with people. I say to anybody who's watching this is sometimes feeling a bit frustrated, sometimes feeling a bit down, deciding that's it, the sales aren't coming, I know they're not coming, it's not going to work for me. I've heard all those things, everything. It's perhaps to look in the mirror sometimes and say, do you know what, I'm being a bit hard on myself, or I'm being a bit hard on everything else. Be kind to yourself and be kind to the people around you. Give them a little bit of your time and understanding. You don't have to be their social worker. And then, kind of make friends with them a little bit, because they are your friends. They're paying you basically, because they work underneath you. You're getting a little bit of money off them. So you've got to give them a little bit and just be a little bit of understanding. That's what I found's work with this, by giving people a little bit of time. And I work with people who are, how do I say this? They're so far down in my team, I get 20p a month. But it doesn't matter if I get 20p a month off that person. I've got somebody else, who's just brought Monopoly and I've got $250. For me, you've got to give both the same time, because then you become more balanced in the way you treat people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, give them a bit of time and set something up to help them if you can. Don't go over the top. This is what I said. We don't want little groups all here, there, and everywhere. But the first thing I did when I joined was I set up a chat box, which some of you guys were in the chat box. I set up a chat box. Everybody knew I recruited went into that chat box. And we just kept talking, certainly over the first couple of months. And I recruited to the team. There were 40 people within the first month. And I've never done that in any network marketing thing. Never done it. It was fantastic. Really thought it was good. So there are little things you can do.
Yeah, that's good. To get that conversation going with people, when they've got that support, when they've got that pillar to go to, they don't feel as lost, do they? And if they've got that block and I'm hassling in, I'm going to get some complaint, they're not going to be as likely to do it again. Are you going to bring? Come on in, have a chat.
I just tried to drag a chair over and she wouldn't have it. She's just dived off. She said she's not camera worthy.
You are. Come on in.
She's beautiful. Oh, she's gone now. She hasn't got a makeup on. Oh well.
So what I want to do is, before we go on, we've got people on here, and we want to hear your comments and your questions. So down below this Hangout, you've got a bit of text, and then you've got a chat box. Type in there, type in some comments, say hello, make Kevin feel at home. If you're on his team, let us know. Just type in a comment, and then we know that you're on there watching. And then we might go into. You're actually going to reveal the suppliers, aren't you? At the end of this, so that'll be good. So type in the chat box if you want.
Suppliers are. It's the manufacturers you want, really.
Oh, well, that'll do then.
I actually can't see a chat box at the bottom of this. Should I be able to see something?
So not on this. On the 22S page. So most people are on. What's the thing? 22s.com/DSD-team-UK. And if you're on that site, you should see a chat box underneath. And Rick's left a comment in there as well. So that's good. So the training then, I mean, you must have seen some of the training and how it's put together in DS Domination. Globally, there's a lot of training there that you can put people into, and they can walk through the process. Would you agree with that?
Who are you asking?
Yeah, Kevin. Sorry.
Oh, me again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the training is. You don't need to be the next Einstein to understand the training. It fits everybody, just about everybody. Some people will get it quite quickly. Some people it takes some time. The one thing that I've actually watched pro training about 3 times now, and I do go back to pro now and then because it's surprising what you forget and what you've missed. What I would say to people who are looking at the training is there are some almost subliminal, very clever messages in there from Roger. I don't think he's done it in a calculated way, but try and look out for those messages. And they're little things like don't be emotional, because he touches on it very quickly and then he's gone. You know, he does this occasionally in the training. He'll say something, and some people don't get it. And one of the things that is that he says, in fact, Shelley's here. She can talk about that in a minute because she's very good with it all. But he talks about don't be emotional, then it's gone. You know, and then people miss that little bit, and on they go to the next bit. And absolute classic example, because Shelley and I joined at exactly the same time. By the way, she's my upline, so there you go. She's my boss. That's how we've set this up. So because I do the recruiting side, she benefits from my recruiting, from the team building. She's not quite so into that. But what Shelley did straight away was she did the training. She's into accessories, and straight away she said, well, I'm going to go looking for handbags and jewellery. And I said straight away, you've missed the message. And I think a lot of people miss that message, is there is no specific item. It's not your favourite thing. I know for some people they'll get a lot more pleasure out of it if they're selling their favourite thing, and you know, fully understand that. But if you've joined this to make some money, which I assume most people have, if you get the message that Roger is giving to everybody, is everything sells. I mean, the first thing that he shows on his video is the roof repair kit. You know, well, I don't know many people who are passionate about roof repair kits. I don't know about you. So there's the message straight away. You know, you can sell anything, literally anything. Try not to be stuck on one particular thing, because I think that can lead you down the wrong path in a certain way. And refer back to the training. Go back to Pro. As I said, I've watched it 3 times, and each time, in fact, it's got me thinking now, and in fact, definitely thinking, because I'm going to Vegas next week. I will probably do all the training modules before I go out to Vegas, because I'm hoping, it hasn't been agreed yet, but I'm hoping to have a meeting with Roger and possibly Kevin and possibly, who's the other guy? Hitesh.
Hitesh, yeah.
I'm hoping to sit down with them and talk about this thing we're putting together, because Roger was talking about Hitesh having some input into the systems and so on, you know, into the software that goes into it. So the last thing I want to do is sit there and them ask me something about Unleashed or Monopoly, and I haven't got a clue.
Well, Hitesh is the wizard, isn't he? The amount of stuff he puts together and the speed he puts things together. I mean, if you want to outsource some work, you want Hitesh on your team, don't you?
Oh gosh, absolutely. Yeah, he would be very useful. Probably wouldn't get him for £1 an hour though.
No, I don't think so. Well, what they've done recently, they've put together a new system called, what is it, DS Supremacy, which is just, you know, looks fantastic. It's going to be launched at the event. I think that the finer details are going to be launched at the event, I think.
But is this a system where it's, because I haven't seen that, so is this a system where the products are unique to DS? Is that right? Is that the same?
No, that is the I'm losing the words now. What's that? Exclusivity. That's the exclusive items where they've got like a warehouse full of items that are sourced from X, Y, and Z and brought in, and then they've got exclusive rights to it.
Yeah, that's DS Direct, isn't it?
I don't know what that one's called, but Supremacy is.
Do you know?
It's like titling things, Google searching things, isn't it? Rick, help me out. What is it?
Sure. Well, I'll do my best to describe it without going too much into really complicated stuff that I won't be able to understand what I'm saying. Basically, it's tracking hot-selling items, and it's an automated system, a bit of software that Hitesh has created and is adding on all the time, where it will do the kind of spider technique that many of us will be familiar with now, but it will do it on hot-selling items and then kind of preempt what is also a hot-selling item based on other existing sales, and it will track what item you should be listing, and a lot of it is automation, and it just goes and kind of spiders down into exactly what's selling and will, as far as I'm aware, recommend items you should be listing.
I think it's when somebody buys an item, they then get an opportunity to buy another item.
Yes,
I think.
indeed.
So
Yeah.
they're presented with more hot items that they can buy. So obviously they'll buy 10 items from you rather than just the one off eBay or Amazon, wherever you're listing it.
Yeah, that's the other end of it, absolutely.
So it's a very clever system. It's not polished and put out there yet, but no doubt it's going to be presented fully working, I reckon, at the event.
It's not far away now. They've got a week, just over a week.
Yeah, it doesn't take a test that long.
No, it's very good.
But yeah, I've seen you know, a lot of people coming into DS domination, and the main thing that they say is, I've tried network marketing before, I've tried this, that, and the other. It hasn't worked for me. I haven't built a team, and I'm getting into DS domination. And then, you know, a few weeks later, I've made money online, and it's comes over and over and over again in all the groups. No matter where you are in the world, people are making money with DS domination. So if you're looking for a business opportunity and you're watching this, then let's say we've tried them all, and this is the one that people are actually making money in. This is the one that there's no hidden things, and you know, people doing secret things. Because another thing we touched on in another webinar, Rick, was that the top guys might say to do X, Y, and Z, but they're actually doing A, B, and C, and that's how they're making all their money. And it really comes across when you take a step back and look at the industry and look at what actually works. We've got a lot of years of experience here, and this is the real deal. This is the next big thing, and it's working for a lot of people. And I love that it's got no BS with it, no pretense, no hype, no you know, no fluff. Get in, do the training, then you can earn some money. You're learning a skill here with DS domination. This skill, without DS domination, you can still make money from eBay, from Amazon, and from the training that you've been taught. So you learn this skill once that you've paid for, and then you just apply it over and over and over again. And I've got a friend over in the US who we know down here, Jason, and he's killing it with all these stuff because he's outsourcing. So he's building up his business, and he's putting tasks to his outsourcers bit by bit, building and building and building. And I think his turnover, when he showed us it on the webinar the other week, was 30,000 on eBay, and I think it was 100,000 on Amazon, or figures around that area. So he's made a lot of money. He's making a lot of profits out of that money, but he's reinvesting it back into his infrastructure, putting the systems in place so it can be automated, you know, once you've got that on. But literally, if you want to earn $50 or $100 or pounds a month, you can do that. If you want to earn 100,000, you can do that as well. It really is a fantastic business model to have.
And for me, the absolute sort of what do you call it, the deal breaker, or whatever you want to call it, or the deal clincher for everybody, is that if you're looking at a fully operational business that's going to make you money from day one, the chances are you're going to have to invest several thousands of pounds into that in order to get to that point, you know, in buying stock or whatever, or doing advertising, marketing, whatever. It's thousands generally to get a business off the ground. If you've got a construction company, you've got to buy vehicles, tools, all sorts of things to get the thing off the ground. And as I say, the absolute clincher for this is the 12 quid. You know, I would happily. I've spoken to a lot of people, when I'm talking to people about DS domination, I say to them, I'm kind of telling this to people who are looking at recruiting, really, if they're going to talk to people about recruiting. If I said to you, there's a seminar in our local sort of hotel there, which obviously they hold hotels, there's a seminar in the hotel there, the guy's going to stand up, he's going to basically show everybody an absolute surefire business. He's going to prove to you that it works, that it makes money. It's on tomorrow night. You know, it's going to be about 2 hours maybe. Would you be interested in going? It's definitely going to make you money, guaranteed. And you're going to say, yeah, I'd be very interested in going for that, because, you know, I'm a bit of an entrepreneur. I want to make a bit of money, whatever your reason why is. Okay, but I should point out to you, it's £12 for the seat. Okay, it's going to cost you £12 to come to this seminar, and people pay fortunes to go and listen to seminars. It's going to cost you £12 to come to this seminar for this guy to show you this business that I've just talked about that definitely makes money. Do you want a ticket? Yeah, I'll have a ticket, definitely. That's what you would do. There's no question you would do it if you knew it was in your local hotel. I find it quite extraordinary sometimes that people in DS who are talking to other people, the amount of questions they ask. Over 12 quid. I'm sorry, in the nicest possible way, it's 12 quid. Get into the business for £12. You can test drive it for a month, basically. You can test drive it for a month. If at the end of the month it's not everything that it's being told to you, everything people are showing you, your very worst scenario is it's cost you £12. You know, and that's the beauty of DS Domination. The clever bit is that entry level to get everybody on board. It's, you know, it's practically no risk. Whereas other businesses, we've all done it, we've all signed up to other things. They've cost several £100s for the startup kit and several things you never use and so on. This is 12 quid, and I think that's just genius to get people on board.
And the content that they get for that £12 is incredible. The pro training you can go through in 2.5 hours, but like you said, you want to go through it more than once to get it fully on board and learnt. And then you're also getting updated information on the pro webinar. So every week he does a webinar on a Tuesday night, and you get that recording in your back office of the pro product, and that's the £20 product. So you've got a lot of training to start off with your eBay selling, and it's going to teach you everything you need to know. So it is incredible to get so much value banged in there. And then the elite level of training, you're going to get more training there, but there's so many different bonuses that you get as well with the additional suppliers for the UK as well. You get in. I know we're saying about trying to keep our Facebook groups, but at the moment we've got pro level Facebook groups. As soon as you go up to elite, you contact our admin, our support here, and then you get put into the elite Facebook group for DS Domination. And then there's this support all the way through the business. So there's a lot of people, you know, will get a lot of value right at the start for the $20, but as you progress through, you've got support all the way that's relevant to you, you know. And I think that, you know, in the UK, we need support that's specific to us, don't we? You know, because things don't work in the US and whatever. So that's why we've you need the extra support. So if you're on watching this and you're not in a Facebook group with anybody, get in touch with somebody and we'll get you that support. So it's very important for your success, really.
Can I introduce Shelley now? Because she's. Oh, you don't want to. I thought you'd done your makeup. Did you talk to you a little bit about the trading side? Oh, no. Oh. Sorry, she still won't come on. Sorry, everybody.
Shelley, come on.
Shelley. Come on.
We'd like to ask you about the training in DS Domination and how it's been relevant to you.
Oh God.
So let me ask you then, where have you focused up to now to make money with DS Domination? Has it been the pro level, or have you progressed up? And what have you found so far?
Well, I started obviously at a pro, and we signed up and we did pro and elite, but I wanted to make sure that it was going to work for us. So I just did the pro training, and I've listed 20 items, and I wanted to make sure they sold first. I started making them sales, and when I saw that started to work, then I thought, right, okay, I'm going to do the elite training, and then from there on, we've done Unleashed, Monopoly, and
Marketing Extreme.
I haven't done so much in Marketing Extreme, but we've got everything.
We've done them. We don't know what they're called. We've done them.
done that.
I'm using Elite suppliers, but I'm also using a lot of the tips that are in Unleashed. And I was trading in the US as well as the UK, but at the moment I'm making enough money to just be trading in the UK at the moment. But I will be focusing on Monopoly because that's got some very good stuff in there. So.
Monopoly is the gold mine.
Yeah.
There's no question. I mean, it frightens people to death. It's $500. We know that. You know, I should point out for anybody who's looking at this opportunity, it's a one-off purchase. It's $500, and it might be 6 months' time before you look at it. So don't be intimidated by that. But Monopoly, there is some serious money to be made there.
There's serious money in there, and the training again. It's really nicely broken down. I think it's very well presented, as all the training is, but you're getting additional stuff in there as well. And I think that there's a lot more perks with you get more products, and they're going to give you more bonuses as well. And as we saw from Jason last week, the secret is he made 30,000. This is the subliminal messages that you were talking about. I'll give you one here. Jason said he made 30,000 with eBay, and he made 100,000 with Amazon.
Yeah, I did pick up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people would love to. Well, get into a business. I've only spent $20. It's or £12. There's no risk there. But if you invest more in the business, it will teach you how to earn exponentially more money from the business. So it's a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about the training, or about maybe what do we want to know? So tell us your role then with the new venture that we're looking in. You're going to be the support for the group, is that right?
Yeah, I had a good chat with, I don't know what people know or anything, but I had a good chat with the guy, Simon yesterday, and I looked at the package, and I've had a sneak preview of some of the items, and they do look very good. I was using an Elite supplier, I won't name the name, and I had a nightmare with them, so...
No, Furniture and Fashion, dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Sorry, anybody on here, the way we've been messed about by those people, sorry, rubbish.
Yeah, so...
Well, can you document that and put that into our Elite group, or just pass it on so we can document it? So if you're in Elite, you will then get the extra bonus of good information, and it'll save you a lot of time and effort going through this. So, sorry, carry on.
So yeah, anyway, so it's quite nice that there's going to be an alternative furniture supplier, and some of the stuff on there is so lovely, and so I can't wait to get selling it, and I know a lot of other people will be looking forward to doing that as well.
It's probably because you've sort of skipped ahead a little bit. I'm assuming there's people on here who know nothing at all about this at the moment, but basically, do you think we ought to sort of just elaborate a little bit more?
Rick, are you happy with that? I don't see why not.
Yes, as much or as little as Kevin is prepared to share.
Yeah.
Right.
We would like to see both of you on the webcam, though.
We'll probably have to move back a little bit. Do you want us to hold hands or anything?
Well, I mean, it's not essential, but...
I still can't see.
That's better.
What's better? Because you still can't see me.
That's good. So yeah, tell us about there's something that's happening for Elite members in the UK. Tell us what's happening, Kevin.
Okay. What we've got, what we put together, there's a team of us that have put it together. It's not just Shelley and I. There's a team of us that have put it together. There are manufacturers, that's what we say to you. These manufacturers, and initially it's furniture, they only supply through retail outlets. And the best way to explain it is these are high quality, high-end products which maybe you would normally only buy through Marks and Spencer's. That's not the whole range. This is just to try and give you an example. And up till now, the manufacturers would only supply to their retail outlets, okay, to the shops on the high street. We put a deal together with these suppliers, or the other guys actually put the deal together. I shouldn't take credit for everything. I've put a deal together where they're now going to supply directly to us. We put together all the software packages so that anybody who's drop shipping, it's purely for drop shippers, can come in, use the system, load the products up, and sell them, basically. But we're talking profit margins. You'll be given. Give you an example. You'll be given your wholesale price, so you'll know what you're buying it for. You'll be given your retail price, so you know the minimum you've got to sell it for, and you cannot go below that minimum. If you go below that minimum, you'll be thrown out. It's as simple as that. We have to protect everybody. As it stands, I'm sort of thinking it through. You can sell it for what you like. One of the beauties of this is the products that we're getting, they're not branded. So if you went into Marks and Spencer's, it will be very obvious who made that product, and it will be branded. We are not allowed to use the brand names that are on the high street because they've got to protect their shops and so on. You brand it yourself. One of the advantages of that, of course, as we all know, if you put a product on eBay, somebody can copy and paste your title and go and find the person you buy your supplier. Find your supplier and come back and undercut you, that sort of thing. You won't be able to do it with this, because if they copy and paste your title, it's your title. If they Google it, they won't find it at all. So it's going to be brilliant for everybody in the way they can protect it. Now, there was some talk as well as creating websites for people, so you'll have your own sort of online shops with these products as well. Do you know anything about that? Or?
Yeah, he did go through it very quickly, but he's mainly focusing on uploading the products and stuff.
Yeah, that's the focus at the moment, is uploading the product. But these products will only be, one of the quirks of this is the profit margins are going to be, on some of the items, several hundreds of pounds. We have everything from £50 lamps up to £20,000, oak dining sets, that sort of thing. Obviously, we're not going to market the £20,000 products because I don't think there's a place for that on eBay somehow. But we never know. We never know where we're going to go with it. There's everything in between. The profit margins are really high. People will be able to make a lot of money from the products they are selling. Obviously, we don't want to flood the market, so initially you have to be on Elite to get in. That's it. There's no charge. There's no fee. You will subscribe to the system. You don't have to pay to be in the system. You just sell the products. And the team of people here have been brutally honest. They make the money from the sale of the product. We don't need to charge people subscriptions to get into this. The advantage of that, again, another one of the advantages of that is if you're into team building and recruiting, you've now got a product which is a UK-based product. It's only for people in the UK, and you'll be able to talk to people you're recruiting, and you'll be able to say to them, not just come on at Pro for £12, come on at Pro and Elite, and you're going to get into this as well, and I'll show you my figures. So straight away they make money. So anybody who's into team building will be able to build bigger residual incomes for the fact that people will need to be on Elite to be in this. And this is, I've got to keep it sort of within the boundaries of that. I'm going down tomorrow. In fact, I might be there for 2 days. Go on. I might be there for 2 days. It's going to go way, way beyond this, what we've talked about at the moment. I can't let the cat out of the bag, but this is where we're starting. Let's just leave it that way. There are other things that have come to people that are involved in this that I think will just be phenomenal for their businesses. And again, unfortunately, I can't elaborate on those, but that's the initial thing. Now, what's happening is I'm kind of the marketing arm of it, so getting it out there, as you know, hence me talking to you guys. Shelley is going to be the head of, what are you, sort of customer service?
Yes.
For the drop shippers, really. So Shelley will be looking after that side of things, looking after you guys and making sure the systems are working and so on. And then we've got the other 2 guys that are involved, plus there are other people who are uploading products at the moment. One of those is just an incredible negotiator, so he's managed to negotiate with these manufacturers. And as I say, these manufacturers, I had a statement today which I thought was fantastic. And basically these manufacturers, they're not interested in the internet. They're sort of, to them, they're just not interested in it. because they've already got these huge retail outlets, and they're quite happy with that, and their businesses are not set up for what we do. And my answer to Simon to that was, well, let's hope it stays that way. We want them to be ignorant to what we can do on here. And by the time they do realise that we should have a vast amount of people involved in it who are creating so much revenue anyhow, they still won't be interested. Fine, we're earning enough money from that. We don't want to go any further with it or look into it any deeper. So that's sort of what, I don't know if that's made sense, but that's what we're putting together. It's in progress now. I'll give you again. I said earlier on, to show you how different these products are. Normally, you could go to somebody like, say, Apple, for instance, and if you were selling Apple's products, if you were a retailer, they'd have I think it's a CSV file, I think it's called, with the manufacturer, and the manufacturer would give you the CSV file. You click the button, and all the Apple products will be loaded up instantly onto your website. Okay, but Apple's, really well known. With our manufacturers, because they're not sort of interested in the internet, we're having to load all these products on manually, so it's taken a little bit of time to do. But I think that's a good thing. As Shelley's already just said, they're wonderful, really, well, wonderful. I don't want to. They're not all wonderful. I'm sure they've got the odd thing in there that people won't like, but they're very, very good, high quality products. But they haven't got a CSV file because they've not been interested in this route before, which I think is a good thing for us, to be honest, because it's not out there on the internet en masse. You can't go anywhere else and buy these products other than walking into a high street shop, where you probably pay a premium for it anyhow. But you asked Shelley something, so what is it? I've forgotten. I talk too much. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Well, it was just really just to give an overview of what was going on, really. Rick, have you got any specific questions about that side of thing? And if you're excited, if you're on the Hangout and you're at the pro level, guess what you need to be doing? We never upsell on DS Domination, but if you're in the UK,
it will be what you need to be doing, but you don't need to do it just yet. The whole system's, it's going to take we're looking at, as you guys know, at the moment we're looking at beta testing this in within the next 2 weeks. That's when we'll have enough product loaded up for our beta testers to come on, and then probably 2 weeks after that we'll be bringing more and more people in as we load more products. I wouldn't want a load of guys to go and upgrade to Elite and think, oh, I can't get into it yet. It's going to be realistically another month.
Okay, so let's say you're at the pro level, you need to be making some money, churning some profits, putting it aside, putting a few dollars aside, so you've got $100 ready for a month, let's say a month's time.
Yeah, about that. That's what we're looking at.
Are you happy with that?
Well, yeah, be nice to people, remember, Stephen.
I am. I was sending them subliminal messages out. Maybe it was just a bit too forceful this time.
Yeah.
So,
there is one question I've got here for Kevin, if it's okay. It's sort of backtracking slightly towards his little spiel. He was talking about his team building and stuff. But I have a team member on here who's commented in the comment area to say that basically, how do you recruit or how do you sponsor? Do you focus on free methods or paid traffic? What's your forte? What's your preference, Kevin?
Free methods. Free methods. I've not
free method or paid?
I haven't done any paid traffic at all yet. Nothing at all.
Wow.
Generally through the people that I know personally, the people I can talk to online. I use a lot of the free methods, a lot of Facebook stuff. We all know there's a few little tricks you can do on there. It's very interesting actually. You kind of you've touched on something there. I'm going down for a meeting tomorrow about furniture, but the guy I'm going to meet has got a software package to do with Facebook. And I'm just, again, opening the door a little bit for you guys to see, yeah, we're starting with furniture, but you won't believe what's going to come from this. And that could be something that would be very interesting to people moving forward. Again, he's the expert on it, so I'll wait till I've seen him and seen what he's got, basically. But yeah,
that is exciting.
Social media, talking to people. I'm a chatterbox. I don't mind talking to people. I've never been shy at coming forwards. And I would say to a lot of people, again, actually, people who are into recruiting, they're quite keen on recruiting. They see the figures and think, yeah, 50% of elite is, or if they've got elite and a pro, that's £40 per person. Income's fantastic, but a lot of us are actually quite reluctant to go and approach people. Those of us that do it, and we do it naturally, we've always done it. The message to those of you that don't do it and feel a little bit shy, is she making funny faces?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, my daughter's behind us now. Those of us that feel a little bit shy about it, and I know it's difficult when you're a bit of an extrovert, which I am, to understand this in somebody if you're not that way yourself. But as I say, when you get older, you start to understand people better. If you are a bit of an introvert, what I would say to you is just go and do it, because what you'll find is the more you do it, the first time you cross that little bridge of talking to somebody and say to somebody, a closing line for you guys, a little bit of a closing line when you're talking to somebody, because nobody wants to be forceful. The closing line that I use in sales that always works for me is, shall we get you on board? Shall we get you on board? Okay, it's not, do you want to place the order, do you want to join? Shall we get you on board? Because that statement tells people they're coming on with you. Okay, they're joining with you. Shall we get you on board with me and my team? That closing statement works for a lot of people. And I'd say for anybody who's there, who's got people to talk to, and you're frightened to death to ask that last question, you must ask for the order. Sorry to be a bit bullish with you. If you're talking to somebody, you must ask for the order. If you've just spent 30 minutes telling somebody all about DS domination, and you come to the end of it and you say, oh, well, I'll leave it with you, come back to me when you like, and I know it's a passive thing, but just say to them, shall we get you on board? Would you like to get on board? Okay? Maybe give them a choice if you want to be a bit more gentle, but you must do that. Otherwise, you come away half an hour and you sat there and you think, oh, I'm not recruiting people again. I've got to ask for the order, guys. And I'm sorry, it's difficult. But what you'll find is that once you've done it once and somebody says yes, I've had a guy in our team today he might even be on here actually, Tony. And Tony has signed his first 2 people up. And I can feel it in the messages he's sending. Because I remember speaking to Tony, he didn't actually sign under me, I think he signed under somebody under me, so to speak. And I can he was a bit nervous about recruiting people. He said to me, I'm not very good at that, I don't like doing that. He signed 2 people up, one yesterday and one today. He got his first one, his confidence went through the roof, and I can feel his momentum, I can feel his enthusiasm building. And a very important point I'm going to make here in a minute. I can feel his enthusiasm building, so he's gone and signed another one out. Now we'll be buzzing and think I can get another one. Little warning, okay? Because your confidence builds up. Suddenly you're going to hit a little brick wall somewhere, because somebody's going to knock you back. Or somebody might be a little bit rude to you. Don't let it bother you. Put them to one side, move on to the positive person, and get your momentum back. Because that's the story I said earlier about how you get knocked down with all these little knocks. Skip past it. Don't waste your time on them trying to prove a point. At the end of the day, it's not worth it. Go and work with positive people, and your positivity and confidence will grow. No question.
Yeah.
So, Kev, you're a big advocate of the whole SWN. I'm assuming you've heard that one. It's not the same concept. With my network marketing past, some will, some won't. So what? Next.
Brilliant.
That kind of thing.
I'm just going to write that down. SWN.
You can use that.
Yeah, we've got that one. We've got streams of them written up the walls here from various people. We haven't got a clue what we're doing. Actually, reading everything off the walls.
He sent you the script over.
Yeah, brilliant.
One thing that Stu said down here was 12 quid would hardly buy you 3 pints. Sacrifice that every month. This is priceless.
Yeah, brilliant.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do these manufacturers dispatch their items on our behalf?
Well, yes. I mean, that's drop shipping, isn't it? Just to give you a feel for the level that we're working at with these guys, when you can imagine what are the regular carriers? Give me some names. CityLink. I know that's a regular one with Amazon. UPS. Parcel Force, you know, and I'm not knocking those companies, but they're handling little parcels every day, and they throw them in the back of a van, you know, and you get the odd damage thing. With this particular courier that we'll be working with, the product is photographed, okay, before it goes onto the wagon. It's there. There's a camera in the back of the wagon, okay, so it's all recorded. So they're keeping an eye on the fact that these products are being looked after. And this is anything from a £50 lamp to a £3,000 table. And then when it's taken off, it's photographed again. Okay, so you know it's gone onto the wagon in the right condition. You know it's been put on the wagon in the right condition. You know it's been taken off in the right condition. And the one thing I think that in fact, I'll talk to Simon tomorrow about is the one thing that we will do is make sure we've got a 100% foolproof way of proving the product was delivered. Because we've had that personally, and Shelley's had that in particularly, where we sent some stuff to somebody and they categorically denied receiving it. But, you know, I'd stand up in a court of law without any evidence and say, I know too bloody well he did receive it. You know, it's funny, isn't it? You deliver all these parcels and one person doesn't get theirs. Hello? You know, and there's nothing you can do. So all the systems are being thought of to make sure that everybody who's involved in this is protected as far as they possibly can be. Okay? So
Yeah.
yes, the answer is yes, they are delivered directly. They're handled very, very carefully.
Yeah, so I think people just want to be reassured that, you know, it's still hands off, it's still drop shipping, there's no extra bits they've got to worry about, it's all taken care of.
Yeah, there's no extra bits whatsoever. We were thinking of buying ourselves a 3-ton Luton and doing it for everybody, but we might be a bit pushed with that.
Yeah. Well, unless there's anything else that you want to talk about, I think we've pretty much got a wrap, haven't we?
Yeah.
Gavin, I suppose we should say hello to Gavin. He's just been sat there nice and quietly. Gavin, come on out. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm just hanging back here and just sort of taking note, really. What with these supplies? What about the supply and the demand sort of thing? Are they able to keep up?
Yeah, we're managing that, Gavin. As I said, this is the unfortunate thing that's hit us just recently, is that actually loading the products up is slower than we hoped it would be because we're having to do it manually. And I've had a discussion with Simon. I mean, we're actually outsourcing the loading up to overseas, where frankly the labour is so much cheaper than it is here. We probably couldn't afford to pay for the labour here to do the loading up, to be honest. But actually some of these guys in some of them sort of, it's Indonesia, that's all I'll say. Some of these guys are actually technically very capable on computers, but I'm not going to tell you what the wages are because I think that would be unfair. But within their own environments, it's good enough. But what we're doing basically, they're loading products up there. We're loading some here. Even Shelley's got the access to get in there and start loading. See, if she wasn't here, she could have been loading some products. So we're putting a team together to try and speed it up. But what we've discussed today is that basically when we open the doors to people, it will be in comparison to the amount of products. You know, if we've only got 50 products on there, we don't want 50 drop shippers. They've all got one each. It's not going to work, obviously. So it will. We talked about it today. So that basically we've got 20,000 products lined up to load up at the moment. Okay, we won't get those on in 2 weeks, quite obviously. And if at the end of the 2-week period where we want the beta testers coming on board, there's say 2,000 products on, then we might only bring in 3 or 4 or 5 beta testers to start with because we want them to have enough product. We'll continue loading product up. They'll be testing the systems to make sure they work and giving us feedback so we iron out the glitches. And the reality of the situation is that we're going to be loading a lot of product over the next 6 months. Okay, it's not going to happen in a fortnight. And then obviously once we've loaded the product, we're going to need people checking the products to make sure they're still in stock, they're still available, all that sort of thing. You know, because you know what it's like when you order something on Amazon, you go back to order it, oh, it's gone, it's out of stock. Oh, you know, obviously those of us in DS domination know how to put systems in place to make sure that doesn't happen to us now. but it's a lot. It's not as simple as just there's a load of stuff on a website, go and order it. It's being thought through. It's not just going to be thrown at people. And then as we progress, we'll bring more people in. What I would say to you is, and again, I'll be so careful what I say, this is just the start. You know, what we're talking about here is just the start. And it's been said to me, how do I say this? Allegedly, the next thing that's coming will dwarf this like you won't believe. But that's all I'm going to say. This is the start. Okay? And as I say, if there's no substance to this, then I will have to leave the country. So let me assure you there is substance. So there you go. Does that answer your question, Gavin?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Good question. So I think that the next thing is all good stuff, full of nuggets from Marcus, and he's looking for us all to get together in the UK. Do you think there's probably going to be a lot of people making a lot of money with DS domination? So I think we need to go a bit up market and maybe have sleepovers at the Ritz or on yachts or something like that down at, I don't know where you'd have a yacht, maybe down the Thames or something. But it's going to be a good old get together. And I think Roger's going to come over in October, so you know, clear your diary about that area. But this would be great to have, you know, people making money. The first money is good money that's working with them on a system that works in the UK. Because, you know, like last week I was saying, a lot of the focus in these network marketing companies is over in the US. And it's really nice to have something that, you know, hopefully, should I say hopefully or not, it will work. You know, this working wholeheartedly for the UK public is going to be a huge relief for a lot of people that are trying and struggling with US companies to make them work, you know, on UK soil. I know companies that, you know, we've been in, and you've got to have a US address, so you've got to go through that palaver to try and get a US address and all that sort of stuff. If you can work and focus in the UK, then it's so much hassle taken off people that I'm just, you know, blown away by it. I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, I think I wanted to touch on that a little bit, really, because talking earlier about unifying the UK and those of us that are out there, there are some very, very talented people out there. And we've all got our own, you know, sort of individual set of skills. And I've kind of sat there thinking about these things that have come together for us in the last month or so, and elaborate a little bit in my mind. If we could unify and get the real leaders in the country working together, I'll tell you the vision I had was that when Roger does come over, I'm not sure if it is October, mind you, Stephen, but he's yet to confirm that, isn't he? But when Roger does come over, for us to work to that point and make that perhaps the launch pad for DS domination to really take off. I mean, we want it to take off now, obviously. But what I thought was the event with Roger would be the... Were any of you involved with Vice Alice? I don't know whether you were.
No.
Well, I was. Shelley was. And they had what they called their pre-launch, which was 12 months of making mistakes and putting them right, basically. And then they had their official launch in February, which was actually a bit of a flop, unfortunately. It was a flop. But they had a year of sort of, and the way I'm looking at this is we're in 6 months now. Come October will be, where are we? That's 10, 11 months, whatever it will be. We've had a year to iron things out. We've got this thing up and running we're talking about. And maybe we could use that point of Roger coming over as being the launch pad to something very, very significant. So there's the launch pad. There's Roger's event. Us leaders, I mean us and other guys around who are really talented people, have got together and said, right, there's the launch pad, and from now on we're going to set up a series of events around the country for people to get together. I nearly did this on my own right at the beginning. I'm glad I didn't, because it bloody killed me, I think. You remember that? Where we have an event and there are workshops at the event. There's a workshop on Pro, there's a workshop on Elite, there's a workshop on Unleashed, workshop on Monopoly, speakers and all that sort of thing. And can I be brutally honest, because I think this is a little bit different, a lot of these events are quite intense. You know, it's several hours, and sometimes it's a whole day of very intense information. And I said to Shelley, when I was sort of trying to piece it together in my mind, what I'd like is something that goes on for maybe 5-6 hours maximum, okay? And then the evening's a party, it's a disco, you know, literally. Put all the chairs aside, we've done all the intense stuff, guys. Let's have a bit of fun, for God's sake. Because everyone you go to, they're all so, you know, we're human, we want to let our hair down a little bit as well, and you'll make a lot of friendship, a lot of bonding will go, not too much, not too close of bonding, I hope. You know what I mean? So that's, and I just think we could use that situation with Roger to do something to get some momentum going, as they do in every other network marketing thing, but make it different, make it fun, you know, because it is fun. Any of us who do listing and go on and start looking for a product, it's like shopping without having to buy anything. It's fantastic. So the whole thing around, if we can make it DS domination, make it fun, you know. So as I say, I think a few of us have got our heads together. We can move. We really move this into a whole new world and a whole different gear.
Yeah, the October date came from when we did a hangout with Roger. He said that with the way his schedule is, it might be around that area. It wasn't fixed in October. It was just around that area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to. He told me something on Friday on the Skype call, and we're actually on the Skype call, and you. We're not allowed to say, are we? No. All right. I thought she was telling me. He told me something on Friday, and I can tell you, I know he's got to be somewhere in October, and it's not here. That's all I'm allowed to say. Is actually, he said at the time, "Oh, sugar, I've just let the cat out of the bag." But I know it's not here. Now I don't know. It might be that he's planning on being there and then coming here. But he said, "What did we think about doing a UK event?" And I said to him, in all honesty, your best date would be round about September. I said, because that's when people start to market Christmas in this country. And it is now, you know, it's that early. If you could be over here sort of September time and do your event then we've got all the sort of Christmas people coming on board, that would be a perfect time, really. That's why I'm saying, when you say October, I don't know. If I find out next week over lunch...
Indeed, I hope you do.
I shall tell you.
So you're going over to Vegas when?
I'm going out a day early, so I'm going out on Wednesday. If you go on the organised trip, it's the 29th. It's on the Thursday. But I decided, I mean, for two reasons. I thought I'd go out a day early. I have a very stressful life with my businesses, and I felt I didn't want a 12-hour flight, which it is, and then get off the plane, you know, and sort of the next morning I'm on a conference in this thing. I thought two things. A, I want to have a day just to chill out, and I'm going to get a slap if I'm not careful what I say here, because Shelley's not coming.
I'm not going. I did have the chance to go, but it was my choice not to.
She's 5 months pregnant, for those that don't know. 5.5 months pregnant, so and we have a 3-year-old. But and I thought, I want a day to chill out, and you know what? It's Vegas, for God's sake. You know, give myself a day to have a walk around and look at things and whatever. Promise I won't gamble. I don't really do gambling. So
yeah, that's a fun town to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, fly over on Wednesday and then come back on Tuesday. And apparently it's 100 degrees, I'm told, at the moment. Well, you could cope with that. You've got the tan. 100 degrees, Jake. Well, I don't know, Jacob. Sorry.
Yeah.
Doing A levels, he knows better than all of us at the moment.
That's good.
There you go.
So, right, okay, that's fantastic. I don't know. I'm just looking extremely excited. So looking forward to the future of DSD UK. Great information, guys. This just keeps getting better from Brian. Thank you for your comments, guys, that are watching this, guys and girls. We appreciate that. If you just leave a comment down below for Kevin, I'll show you where to have a look at these comments afterwards, Kevin. You can type in a reply to them if people want to follow up with any other questions after this hangout. So with that, I think we're going to have a wrap. And thank you for joining us once again. And we look forward to hearing about these secret meetings that you've had with Roger and Hitesh and Kevin and anybody else that's high level involved with what we're doing in the UK. So thank you, guys.